to the Meters, an American folk band popular in the 1970s, they all ask for you. Who, you may ask? Well, the animals at the Audubon Zoo, of course. The Audubon Zoo is home to nearly 2,000 animals. Its notable exhibits attract people from all over the world. Although you may have never visited the zoo, it's likely that you've heard of it. The zoo was actually named after John James Audubon, a very famous artist and naturalist popular in New Orleans around the early 1900s. According to the Audubon Nature Institute, through research and conservation, the Audubon Zoo has enhanced the care and survival of wildlife for nearly 100 years. The Audubon Zoo is very rich in history, and its natural beauty is very evident. It's one of Louisiana's most prized landmarks. It's been home to animals since 1884. The very first exhibit was actually an aviary, which is an enclosed space for birds. And just because I think of where the location of the zoo was, it attracted very many people. By word of mouth, it began to grow, and eventually funds were raised federally and privately, and the exhibits were able to grow. Two of the exhibits that began the expansion were a monkey exhibit and an elephant barn. But however, in the 1950s, the reputation of the zoo began to decline. Funds became scarce, and according to NOLA.com, many critics believe that it became an animal ghetto. The enclosures that the animals were staying in were not like what they were used to in their natural habitat. But in the 1970s, when funds began picking back up, the institute was able to go from 14 acres to 50 acres and became one of the finest zoos in the United States. Now that I've told you a little bit about the history, I'm going to show you about some of the exhibits that are offered at the zoo. Truly, the Audubon Zoo is kind of considered a living museum. Its main purpose is to exhibit the diversity of wildlife and, show children and show families that. A stately collection of oak trees is the oldest living history in New Orleans, which is very interesting to me because you'll also learn that one of the highest points in New Orleans is also at the zoo. According to NOLA Online, the Audubon Zoo is 58 acres of animals in their natural habitat. So it's very lush and natural. They can roam. They have plenty of places to go. They're treated really well. And a lot of visitors have claimed that they can see that through the animals and through the staff at the zoo. Just some of the main exhibits that they have are elephants, white tigers, Komodo dragons. They have a monkey hill that I was telling you about earlier. It's a 28-foot hill that was built for the children of New Orleans just so they could experience what a hill is like. And it's actually the highest point in all of New Orleans. They also have a swamp that kind of shows about the culture and how we kind of do things in Louisiana. And one of the most interesting things to me is that the zoo has two white alligators, which a lot of times people mistake as albino alligators. Well, these alligators are not albino. They're actually leucistic, which means they have a rare genetic disorder that causes the pigmentation in their skin not to be quite as dark as other alligators. Well, I actually have an egg right here. This is what the zoo looks like, and this is one of the white alligators at the swamp exhibit. Anyway, out of the 5 million alligators in the world, only 15 are believed to have this condition, and the Audubon Zoo actually is home of 2 of them. So that's very interesting. They have white skin and blue eyes. The Audubon Zoo could be considered a safe haven for animals like these, and not only in cases like theirs, but also in cases like Hurricane Katrina. One of the main things that I was kind of wondering is, what do you do during a natural disaster with over 2,000 animals? Can you imagine them just running around the city? Well, actually, the zoo was very prepared, and the staffers knew what they were doing. They provided great shelter for the animals, and the only casualties were 3 animals, a pair of river otters and wood whooping crane. According to Rhett Butler, the zoo suffered no flood damage. This is how well prepared they were. The staffers held the staffers took refuge in a reptile shelter, which the only damage was caused from the trees, because like I said, it's known for the beautiful trees. Well, but that with a hurricane, things can get kind of disastrous. But no real damage was done, which is actually, I mean, great. The only concerns that the staffers had at the zoo was a psychological um, impact that the helicopters would cause as they were flying and checking on things. So, pretty much, my point was that the Audubon Zoo has so much to offer, and not just for children, because I think that that's what so many people associate the zoo with, but also for people of all ages, just from the history and the beauty and the exhibits. It just has so much to offer. So I really encourage you to go visit.